we were anticipating, though?
Almost in line. 1136 crore was the estimate. What is the loss here? Around 1107 here. Look at the stock price. Let's first look at the stock price reaction here. Now almost only 1% up here, around 2% basically. You started with a 10% the pre-open, positive sentiment reaction on the tower sale, and now the stock price around 2%. Now let's start seeing the numbers here. Revenue numbers here actually, those actually look a tad bit lower here. EBITDA basically is looking slightly better here. Now in terms of EBITDA margins again, the first reaction would be this is not a big drop like Airtel. Airtel was a 500 basis point drop. For Idea again, this is not looking like a 500 basis point drop in EBITDA margins. The next question would be, is this a trend which actually you can go through in the third quarter? I would doubt so, because again the pressure on the prices, the realization, those continue to remain. There is still discounting which is happening from Jio. Number two, Jio phones basically are yet to launch, so again that impact is not being seen, and also from October basically the ARPUs are going to fall more. So I would think basically there is no major reason for basically the stock price to jump materially here. ARPU is coming at 132, basically the blended ARPU, the estimate was 130, so again that basically is looking quite good here. Now in terms of EBITDA margins, let's actually dissect into the trend here. EBITDA from the new service area in terms of the margins here, this time 27.1% versus 24.1%. That's a negative development because over the last 4 or 5 quarters, you were actually seeing an improvement in terms of new circles. The EBITDA margins were actually gradually inching higher, and there was an expectation as you start gaining more subscribers, those will actually turn profitable. Now you're actually seeing fall in EBITDA margins, and remember from October, actually in terms of what we were seeing, what we are going to see, the ARPUs are going to fall more, so margins perhaps could fall more. EBITDA established service areas, the margin basically those have fallen again from 26.6% to 23.8%. Almost a 280 basis point decline, and that's what the street was estimating here. So again the margin basically are looking in line with the estimates here. Now in terms of overall, if I look at the interest cost here, so far the interest cost looks actually to be same, should be on a declining trend as we move through the year here. Revenue from the established areas, the new service areas, from the new service areas, there is a decline, and there is a decline roughly around 7 to 8%, but from the established areas, the decline is around 8 to 9%. The decline is similar in both new circles and old circles. Margin fall in new circles. That's a recipe that full year again is not going to look, and actually is going to worsen here. And also I would be concerned because interest cost you can reduce because you're selling your stake for 4,000 crores in towers. You will be reducing your debt slightly. But then what about the margins here? Because as we know again in terms of intercurrent usage charges, those have been reduced from October. So ARPUs are going to fall more in the third quarter. So I would say, Samina, that there is not much degree of positivity if I look into the results here. One can say that yes, EBITDA is looking better, margins perhaps are in line with what we were estimating, but what about the third quarter? Because the third quarter margins are going to fall more, losses are going to widen, ARPUs basically are at 132, but still you are talking about 10% lower ARPUs in Bharti Airtel, and there is no bottom right now. So it's going to fall more.
Piyush, but I know earnings are a disappointment, and I guess there's been no real reason to cheer in terms of the stock performance. But in the last couple of months, the story on Idea has largely been about its merger with Vodafone. So in terms of price action, if you do, scale that up in the next couple of months, it'll again be Vodafone that will drive Idea's stock price as opposed to earnings. Fair to say that?
Fair to say that, and as we move towards the merger, when the finale date actually comes that both the operations are going to become one, I think that would be the time when the positive sentiment rub-off will come. But I think still some months to go for, because you need major approval for Department of Telecom, and that usually takes time. So if I assume February, March, perhaps on a note that could be the time, if not January, then I think we have November, December, and a bit of January here, and then times are going to be very bad for the stock. Primarily because ARPUs are going to fall, the margins are going to fall. So I think that is one thing which we should be cognizant of. But in terms of results, pure results, what is the qualitative results here? Net loss in line with estimates, revenue below estimate, ARPUs almost in line because Airtel also outperformed the estimates by about 1.5%. Idea did that, but then it's fair to say the trend is same, 10% lower ARPUs than Airtel. So I think no reason to be really optimistic at present in terms of stock price reaction. Sentiment around 1 to 2% for a tower sale is, I think, fair enough, but I think through the day they're going to, I think that's going to fizzle out.
I think so.